SpaceX plans to send missions to Mars using its Starship spacecraft, which is a fully reusable vehicle designed for interplanetary missions. The Starship spacecraft consists of two main components, the Super Heavy rocket booster and the Starship spacecraft itself. To reach Mars, the Starship spacecraft would launch from Earth on top of the Super Heavy rocket booster. Once in orbit, the Starship spacecraft would separate from the Super Heavy rocket booster and continue on its trajectory towards Mars. During the journey, the Starship spacecraft would use its Raptor engines to adjust its course and speed as needed. SpaceX plans to use a trajectory called a Hohmann transfer orbit to send the Starship spacecraft to Mars. This trajectory involves launching the spacecraft when Earth and Mars are at their closest point in their respective orbits, allowing the spacecraft to use the least amount of fuel possible to reach Mars. The journey to Mars would take several months. Upon reaching Mars, the Starship spacecraft would enter the planet's atmosphere and perform a controlled descent using its engines. To land on Mars, the Starship spacecraft would use a combination of its engines and aerodynamic braking to slow down and enter the Martian atmosphere. The spacecraft would then use its engines to perform a controlled descent and land on the surface of Mars. SpaceX has conducted extensive testing of its Starship prototypes to ensure they can safely land on the Martian surface. Once landed, the spacecraft would use its onboard resources to generate fuel and other materials needed to support human missions on the planet. The Starship spacecraft is designed to support human life during the journey to Mars and while on the planet's surface. It includes life support systems for oxygen, water, and food production. The spacecraft would also need to carry equipment and supplies for scientific research, as well as tools and materials to construct habitats and infrastructure on Mars. To return from Mars, the Starship spacecraft would need to launch from the planet's surface, enter orbit, and then perform a course correction to return to Earth. Upon entering the Earth's atmosphere, the spacecraft would use its engines to slow down and perform a controlled descent to land on the planet's surface. This would likely involve landing on a remote island or a specially designed landing pad in the ocean. The trip to Mars and back would take several months and involve numerous challenges, including radiation exposure, extreme temperature variations, and the need to carry enough supplies to support the crew during the journey and on the surface of Mars. SpaceX is working to address these challenges through advanced technology and mission planning.